First, we're going to start this hour, Cass, by discussing the England squad. Now, Gareth Southgate named his provisional 33-player squad ahead of the Euros last week. Of course, he was sort of navigating the whole, the fact that the English sides were in the Europa League final and the Champions League final as well. On Tuesday, he has to cut that number to 26. I'm going to put you on the spot, Cass. If you had to cut 7 players from that provisional squad, who would you take out?
Well, I'll probably go with who I think Gareth will leave out because I think it's quite predictable. I do feel it'd be a number of the younger element that's been given the opportunity.
Should we start with the goalies first then?
Well, Aaron Ramsdale will be the one, I think. Dean Henderson, Jordan Pickford will certainly go. I think it's a coin flip between Sam Johnson and Aaron Ramsdale, and I think he'll go with Sam Johnson.
Nick Pope, of course, injured. So.
Yeah, Nick. Well, again,
he would have been a shoo-in.
Yeah, he would have been. Pope would have been there, but you have an injury to the goalkeeper. You don't know how Harry Maguire is going to be as a centre half, and you don't know how Jordan Henderson's going to be because he's not played for Liverpool, and they're big players. So obviously, places going. Ramsdale will be the goalkeeper. I feel will lose out. I don't see it any other way. If you're looking at defenders, I think Ben Godfrey and I think Ben White will be left out, and one of them will be in. And if Harry Maguire is injured, so who would he keep in? I've got a sneaky feeling it'll be Ben Godfrey at Everton more than Ben White. That's nothing to do. Look, they've come a long way in a short space of time, haven't they, the pair of them? Yeah,
the pair of them. Big move for him, wasn't it, from Norwich to go to Everton. He's done so well this season. I remember going to, I think, one of his first games. It was the Merseyside Derby, I believe it was, actually, with talkSPORT on game day. And it was... He kind of was thrown into the lion's den in that game. Yeah. And he's since then, he's just performed really, really solidly, hasn't he?
Well, he's a great athlete. You can see there's a real turn of pace in him. He's got more comfortable on the ball as the season's gone on. Makes a lot of last-ditch challenges, which for a centre-half is, just a fantastic thing to be able to do. But I do feel if out of the two, I think Ben White would be more likely to lose out. Nothing, Ben's had a really good season for Brighton. But, it's about opinions and choices, and I think that's the way Gareth would go.
And there's a lot of opinion and a lot of choice for right back as well. You've got Atletico Madrid's, he's just won La Liga, hasn't he? Kieran Trippier. Premier League champion Kyle Walker. Chelsea's Reece James, who's just won the Champions League. One of them is going to miss out.
Yeah, I know.
And it's such a difficult one because Kyle Walker is having one of his best seasons, scoring goals as well. Kieran Trippier has just won the title in Spain, so broken that sort of the top two again. And Reece James, you talked about him earlier, he's such a talent.
He's got too much talent in the right back
and
area.
Then you've got Trent, Alexander-Arnold.
Trent's the weird one because he didn't select him in the previous squad. Yeah. Now, if you haven't selected him, then you've chosen for a bigger squad, but you're going to reduce that squad. I think it would be a really harsh thing to do to select Trent, who's now an experienced pro. He's been around for a good 2 or 3 years now playing at the top level. Would you really select him and then go, well, he's not going to make the final 26? I don't see that. I think, obviously, you can utilise him slightly different. You can push him forward. And I do think there's a real argument for you've got to use Trent in certain types of matches. If you really feel you're going to dominate play and you're going to get a lot of chances to whip things in and get in forward areas, no one's better than Trent at delivering a ball into an area that causes mayhem. So I think Trent will go. But it might... He was brilliant at the end of the season for Liverpool. His form he really got back to his top performances.
Yeah, and that sort of mirrored the team as well,
wasn't
it?
Did.
So it probably wasn't as individual. It probably wasn't as individual as a lot of people made out.
But he stood out. The last remaining games of the season, Trent just stood out with his performances. So I think he'll go. I think the one in midfield for me that will lose his chance to go is James Ward-Prowse. I just think he could be the one. They've got a lot of cover in there. They've got the sort of, could have Jesse Lingard in as an attacking midfielder. You've got Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice who are holding midfielders who do it really, really well. Look, if Jordan Henderson doesn't go, then I think James Ward-Prowse obviously would go because you'd want certainly someone. I like Ward-Prowse because his ability to win a goal or to win a game in a moment with his dead ball situations.
Yeah, he could be
his
the
deliveries
Beckham,
are exceptional. Yeah, so I think the interesting ones is in the forward areas because I think there's more players going to lose out in that area than there are in midfield and defenders because I think Mason Greenwood will lose out. I think not
He's not he's not always been a regular in the
for
starting
United
lineup. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Rashford will go. I think Gareth, sees a bit more experience there, and I think Gareth will just look at some of the younger players and think, I'm having them in because I know I need them down the line. I want to keep them involved. I'm still going to go with some of my tried and trusted because there is a number of younger players, and for me, Mason Greenwood ticks that box. It's harsh because you're looking at Ollie Watkins. Out of the three, if you were going to go Harry Kane, which isn't obvious, and then you go Calvert-Lewin or Ollie Watkins, I think Calvert-Lewin gets the nod for me on that one.
Yeah.
So Ollie Watkins could lose his spot.
And teenagers as well. You've got 17-year-old midfield. Yeah, Saka. You've got Jude Bellingham. You've got...
Bellingham will go.
Yeah.
I believe Bellingham will go. I think they really rate him. They know that he's played a lot this season and has actually been outstanding for Dortmund. They've seen him in training and they think, he's got to be part of this
and he went
squad.
toe-to-toe with Kevin De Bruyne. I interviewed him after that game, actually, at the Etihad, and he was brilliant. Such a kind of wise head on young shoulders. He was really great to talk to as well. Really, really a great character. Bukayo Saka is really interesting for me because I've watched a lot of Arsenal this season. I've spoken to Bukayo a lot as well in interviews and things, and I find him one of the most versatile and bright young talents in that Arsenal squad and actually in the country. I think he's an incredible player. Is he just a little bit too young, a little bit too inexperienced, do you think, to not make the cut?
No, I like going with players that make differences. I think he will be the unluckiest player in all. I think because his season's been great, but I just got this sneaky feeling he could get left out for other players. I mean, I think it's harsh because he's been so good at times. It's just that I've got this gut feeling that Saka's going to be that one that it's going to be a hard one for him to take because of how he's played this year for Arsenal. But I can see Gareth doing that. And you're right, his versatility is extraordinary. But I still think Sterling's going to go. Look, Sterling hasn't played as well as Saka.
Well, this was my next question but he brings the experience. He is the wise head.
He's not going to leave Raheem Sterling out for Saka.
Yeah.
I know they play different positions, one on the left and one on the right. Yeah. But he will take Sterling. I don't think Rashford's played as well as Saka, but he'll take Rashford over Saka. So I think that's why it's harsh because he's actually played better than Rashford and Sterling. I mean, Rashford's got quite a number of goals this season for club and country. He's over 20, but he's not. He's had a lot of indifferent games. But I still think them two will go in front of Saka. Grealish will go. I can't think it'd be
Grealish
foolish
has to go.
Grealish is such a talent.
He's our new Gaza.
Yeah, well, he's got
not
that
yours, ours.
No, but he's got that. He's got that thing in the game that very few people can do, and it's balls that made to look easy. That are, technically he's just superb. So all these people are going, and yet I still think Saka would be the unluckiest of all the players to not get his spot.